From his struggles to get onto an NBA team's roster, to the feud with his own teammates, Jeremy Lin's journey to success is nothing short of incredible. So let's look at one of the NBA's greatest underdog stories. Because while his current fame may have you fooled, Lin actually came from a very humble background. Jay Lin, who is from California, was raised in a Christian home by his Taiwanese parents. He was just 5'3" when he started playing basketball as a freshman. But by some miracle, he grew into the NBA-ready 6'1" height by his senior year. Jeremy faced many struggles before he even made it to the NBA. And one of the biggest was simply getting noticed by scouts and recruiters. Even though he was a standout player at his school, the majority of college program scouts were sleeping on his talent. While he was able to land a spot at Harvard University, it wasn't the ideal place for someone aiming to go pro. Lin worked hard and played harder, but was never seen as a top NBA prospect. So it wasn't a surprise that he went undrafted in the 2010 NBA Draft. It just made his journey to the top all that more difficult, since he now had to go through Summer League. I wish I could say it got easier when he finally landed a spot on an NBA team, but his struggles had only just begun. Jeremy was waived by multiple teams and had to bounce around the league, often spending time in the G League. He was often overlooked because of his race. Some commentators questioned whether an Asian American player could succeed in the NBA, but Lin never gave up. He continued to work hard and improve his game and eventually got a shot with the New York Knicks in 2012. All I can say is I bet his coach regretted wasting his talents at first, because after being signed by the Knicks, Lin initially spent most of his time on the bench as a reserve player. He played only limited minutes and was often ignored by his coaches during games. At one point, there were rumors that he was going to be cut from the team altogether. But when the Knicks star players started getting injured, Lin was given a chance to prove himself. And he did just that. The team was playing against the New Jersey Nets when Jeremy put on the show of a lifetime. He scored a career-high 25 points and led the Knicks to a surprising victory. This was the beginning of what would become known as Linsanity. Over the next few weeks, Lin became a sensation in the NBA. After the victory over the New Jersey Nets, he was on a roll. And in the next game, Jeremy scored 28 points and dished out 8 assists against the Utah Jazz. The Linsanity phenomenon had begun. And Lin's underdog story, combined with his impressive performances on the court, captivated the world. He led the Knicks to 7 straight wins, averaging 23.9 points and 9.2 assists during that time. Lin's success was especially significant as he was one of the few Asian American players in the NBA, and his story resonated with fans across the globe. He quickly became a cultural icon. But as people say, all good things must come to an end. And Lin's time with the Knicks didn't end on a good note. He suffered a torn meniscus, which ruined team and fan spirits. After all, people from all over the globe were rooting for his success. The man whose career had been in uncertainty only a few months earlier had become a lifeline to young players. People thought that this injury marked the end of an era after hearing that he'd missed the remainder of the 2012 season. So if Miami Heat's brutal comments against Lin hadn't already destroyed the hype train, this injury definitely did. But along with the news about the injury, there was another rumor spreading throughout the industry, which claimed that Linsanity and Lin's career in New York ended thanks to the man by the name of Carmelo Anthony. And for those of you who don't know, Carmelo was Lin's teammate, and the two never really hit it off together. Rumors said that Carmelo begged the Knicks not to sign Lin again because he was so jealous of the attention he was getting. Unfortunately for him, his plan failed. The Knicks, as well as the Rockets, extended not one, but 2 offer sheets in the season after his string of dominating performances. The Rockets' first offer sheet would have earned Lin $9 million over 2 years, so naturally the Knicks offered to match it. Still, their pockets weren't deep enough, and they gave up when they saw the final $14.8 million offer. And I have to admit, Houston played their cards right, because the Knicks would get a harsh penalty of a $40 million luxury tax if they matched the offer. The following season, fans saw Jeremy enter the court in the classic Rocket jersey, and he maintained a steady career after that. The guard proceeded to contribute wherever he moved for the next 5 years, as he spent time with the Lakers, Hornets, and Nets, despite Carmelo's obvious sabotage attempt. Ironically, Jalen achieved major success with the Raptors in the 2018-19 season, as the team won the championship. While he may not have gotten any insane stats during the finals, a ring is a ring, and fans were sure to point out that Carmelo Anthony still hasn't reached that goal. Unfortunately, he walked off from the 2019 season as a free agent without a team, and had little choice but to agree to a one-year contract with the Beijing Ducks. But he realized that the NBA was the only place he wanted to play, and decided to quit and move back to America. After that announcement, rumors were going around that a certain San Francisco team was considering signing Lin, and it gained popularity among fans, though he quickly shut down those rumors when he signed with the Santa Cruz Warriors. Still, this didn't mean that all was lost. Jeremy Lin was dominating in the G League, averaging over 18 points and 7 assists per game, not to mention the 29 points he scored in his debut for his new squad. So if anyone says that Lin's sanity has died, they're extremely wrong. Jeremy Lin has thrived in an industry set on keeping him down. Despite his impressive performances during the Linsanity period, he was still facing criticism and racism throughout his career. Many doubted his abilities and saw him as a fluke or a gimmick rather than a legitimate player. Plus, the racial slurs and stereotypes from fans and even other players were just heartbreaking. During a game in 2012, Floyd Mayweather tweeted that while Jeremy Lin is a good player, all the hype is because he's Asian, and that black players do what he does every night and don't get the same praise. Even though Floyd later apologized for his remarks, you could tell it affected Lin, and the comments from ESPN anchor Max Kellerman just added fuel to the fire, since he also claimed that Lin's fame was because of his race. Max said that some guys can handle the ball, some guys can shoot, and some guys can pass. Jeremy Lin does all of that, but since he's Asian, it gives him a boost. So not only was he overlooked because he was Asian, but he was also considered overhyped because he was Asian. It's incredible how he still continued on with the sport despite being stuck in a lose-lose situation. It really goes to show how much love he does have for the game. And there you have it. This was Jeremy Lin's incredible NBA underdog story.